Hello, I'm Alex from the Siebel Hub, and welcome Richard as well. So there's 100% of the Siebel Hub team here. We want you to take advantage of us by going to siebelhub.com, of course, and visiting our state-of-the-art, always up-to-date course material that we have there. We are a proud provider of course materials to Oracle, so it's the best material you can ever get. So enough of the shameless plug here that I'm allowed to do. Let's see some Siebel. Okay, this is Siebel 25.10. I spent the whole night installing it. No, I didn't. I spent my weekend installing it. And it features the Redwood tabs that Agnes showed us. And I love the Redwood tabs. I admit I was the one who initiated a chant last year. You know, remember, bring back the tabs. And that worked. So whenever you want Oracle to do something, you have to just yell loud at them.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you guys. And it also has the open search, which I am halfway there of implementing, and yeah, gave it a little bit of tweak. But it's not about open search. Agnes did, of course, the greatest job introducing you to open search. I'm not talking about the new features of Siebel. I'm talking about a relatively old feature. That's Siebel Open UI. That's still Siebel Open UI. It's Redwood, but Open UI. And you can customize Open UI. So tell me how many of you do active customizing of Open UI. That is style sheets, JavaScript, you know, PRs, PMs. Okay, hands are half the room, yeah. So you will know how to do this. You can leave. So here's I did a little bit of OpenUI magic here. I created a little button. It's an AI assistant button. Yes, this is about AI. I'm sorry. So there's an AI assistant, and I can click this button, and it's a live demo. So there's a little spinner. The AI is thinking, and the AI has, summarized the service ticket, the black poodle attack, which is the most funny of service requests of them all. And it has summarized it, and I can, for example, save it as a note, save this text as a note to the service request, which is a feature that the customer requested once. So I kept it in the demo, but it's not about that. And there's a settings button. I can basically use the same dialogue to edit some of the settings. For example, I can pick my model, right? So there's notice how slick that drop-down is. That is like it has the checkboxes in front and it has type ahead. So it's the dream of the OpenUI developer to create a drop-down like that. So, but this is not about this drop-down, but it looks cool. And I can select Grok, I can select Llama, I can select Anthropic Claude. Okay, what are these? And Claude, Grok.
Models?
These are just models, but in a few years they will be our new AI overlords. So be gentle with them. And so I'm using them. And which one of these is actually not hosted on OCI?
The one that doesn't say OCI.
The one that doesn't say OCI. Wow, oh yeah, Richard. Yeah, so Anthropic Claude is hosted by Anthropic. I think Oracle is talking to every one of these vendors to get them on their data center. But currently Claude runs on Anthropic servers, and so I'm talking to it through Siebel, and I'm talking to it through a new feature, a relatively new feature that is the generic AI web service. You have heard about the OCI AI integration. But now I leave out the word OCI because it's just AI integration. So Siebel has a standard web service. I repeat, standard web service, standard business service. Can be a web service, can be a REST service. A standard business service which you provide with your model name, the provider, and it has a JSON template, so it figures out what to send to that provider and it comes back. So that's super cool. Try it out. But this session is not about all this. So what is this session all about? The session is about how I created this dialogue, or how you could create this dialogue. And I like the style, I like these drop downs, and I came across a while ago, a nice little framework. You know, when you doing Open UI extensions, you are always in lookout for a nice framework. The framework we all started with, or most of us, was jQuery, right? That's still in Siebel, it's still in Open UI, even if it's Redwood with tabs, it's still jQuery. That's good. jQuery is a nice framework, but time has moved on. I'm teaching people in my Open UI masterclass who came fresh from college or university. They have never heard of jQuery. jQuery is boomer tech, right? So most of us are boomers, and if you use jQuery, you're definitely a boomer. So what do you use? Do you use Angular? No, that's boomer tech. Angular is gone. It's legacy. Yeah, read those blogs, watch those vlogs. Angular is legacy. React, that's Meta, that's Facebook. That's so 25. Shoelace. Wow, now you're talking. Shoelace is cool. Okay, I'm not talking about Oracle. So Shoelace is one of the greater libraries because it's one single file and one CSS file. What about React and Vue.js? How many files are there? When I type in new project and it gives me downloads 2,000 dependencies, I'm a boomer, I don't like that. So I like a single file library. I like Shoelace, but it doesn't say Shoelace, it says Quiet. So that's what you are now. Quiet is a framework by the same developer who developed Shoelace. He's a great guy. And he has no girlfriend, obviously. And so he developed a private project based on Shoelace, and he called it Quiet UI. So do check it out, quietui.org. I don't get any money from him, but I do give him money because I fund him. And you can browse the components, and there's an accordion, there's an avatar, there's a badge. Let's check out one component. I've been using the combo box. So it's also great documentation here. So you see that combo box in action here with examples, and you can see the code you have to write to create that combo box. And so, okay, if you understand how to do this, it's just HTML elements, it's just web components. And that makes life super simple as a developer. But still, I don't want to learn a new framework every 6 weeks or so when they come out. And it might be legacy next year. So I just want to adapt quickly. So what I'm using and what this guy has figured out is that people are using his framework, but with the assistance of AI, of generative AI. So this is what this session is about. Sorry for the long introduction. So I'm trying to create a dialogue in Open UI. I want to use a framework like a sexy framework like I just found, Quiet UI. I have no idea how to use it. I know a little bit of JavaScript. I know about Open UI, but how to generate a dialogue with this framework eludes me. And I don't want to learn it because there's generative AI. So this is super new. So most generative AI models will not have, ingested it. So he's prepared for that. He provides us with an LLM's text file. So I've opened that file here. So that's a textual description of the framework. And you can load this into your AI. So for example, I'm using Claude Code. Can recommend it as a developer, so look into it. And Claude Code can basically work on a directory where you put your files, and you can write files there, can read files, and it has the power of the LLM behind it. So I loaded I put the LLM text in that folder basically, and I told it to ingest it. And I did the same in the web front end just to be more graphical. So here I pasted the LLM text from that vendor. I told it this is basically I want to use this in the session, and it consumed it, and you can see, okay, it has 85 components, it's a really cool library, what do you want to build? And the next step is I want to build a dialogue, right? I want to build that nice looking dialogue with the spinner and the animations and the combo boxes. And so I need to have a start. So when you work with LLMs, you need to kind of get started somewhere. So what I did is create a mock-up. Just outlined this in PowerPoint because I'm a boomer. I use PowerPoint to draw. So I outlined the dialogue I want with 3 buttons, a text area in the middle, a title, or I can take a screenshot from prototypes I did. It doesn't matter to the LLM. It's multimodal. We all know what's multimodal LLM. We use it every day, right? So I copy paste that screenshot, and I tell it, okay, please write a JavaScript function. I don't bother, so that's about the prompt engineering part of this session. I don't bother to tell it, you are an expert Siebel Open UI developer. Don't tell it an LLM that, because it will kind of feel very confident and tell you a lot of bullshit about Siebel Open UI that doesn't even exist. Yeah. So just do what the LLM can best. I worked with LLMs for the past 2 years, mostly for coding. Who of you has done the same? Who uses LLMs for coding? Yeah, okay, don't feel ashamed. It's actually you're the future. If you don't use LLMs for coding right now, you're living in the past. And I noticed one thing: JavaScript is one of the best documented languages on the planet. Right? It's all over the internet. There's not one but 2,000 tutorials on the internet on JavaScript. So those LLMs really know JavaScript. That's one thing I found out. It's almost every time the code is super accurate. Do you agree? Do you have the same experience with JavaScript, languages like JavaScript or Java? It's great for Java because it's a well-documented language. It exists for 25 plus years and it's stable. So the LLMs know the thing. What about quietui, which just came out? Yeah, I have to put the LLM text to tell it, okay, how it works. But then it starts understanding it. What about Siebel eScript? Ooh, that's swampy territory. If you tell it, I know one guy, he doesn't actually write eScript. He told me, I don't know eScript. And then he came to me with a business service that doesn't work. And that's eScript. Yeah, but I didn't write it. ChatGPT wrote it. And it doesn't work. I say, yeah, that's why it doesn't work. So it's, okay, so I tell it that quietui and jQuery are loaded, so it doesn't bother with creating the loader code. And that's the prompt. That's all I prompted. Write a JavaScript function that generates a dialog. It figures out that's an attachment. That's the mockup. So it's even more clever than I am. And use the quiet dialog component. So I kind of trigger it into using quietui by telling it specifically use quiet dialog and other relevant components such as quiet button, because it's a new framework and it needs to be nudged. Ensure that the display area supports vertical scrolling, so a little bit of detail, and assume quietui and jQuery are already loaded. So let's see what it generated. So this is a session I ran before, and you can see it starts with, if I only get this up, sorry, down. Yeah, there we go. So it creates a function. It uses a nice name. It uses modern JavaScript. That's also one thing. Once you start working with LLMs, it's 2025. There's no var variable declaration. It's const or let. So it's modern ECMA script. That's what we're missing in eScript. Basically, it's not modern ECMA. Have you listened how I yell at Oracle? Yeah. The eScript thing. So, and it uses document create elements. I don't want to really waste your time with reading JavaScript, but it came out with that function, and I took that function, put it in my Open UI code. I called the function from the console, and the dialog was there, exactly as I wanted it. In one single two prompts. Okay, I had to upload the LLM text. I can do that in my folders. It reads it every time, and I can start generating stuff. You notice I didn't tell it to kind of create a CSS file, so it does inline CSS, but it's quite nice. I like this one because I can just copy it out to a style sheet when I'm ready to go. So it's good for prototyping, less good for production. But it gets me somewhere. It gets me to this dialogue. And the whole conversation was a little bit longer than that because I didn't like a few things. So I told it, for example, please use bCRM as the prefix for every function from now on. Or so Black Sheep CRM. So my functions are branded. When people copy paste them on the internet, I can see they use my code. And so it did that. And then can you fix, there was a button too much. Can you remove that button? Use the default style, because it tried to make it fancy looking, and I don't want fancy looking. It's an enterprise system, right? So then I had to tweak the sizes. So you see, it's not just one prompt. If anybody tells you, it's one prompt and you have an app running, don't believe them. But Alex got this dialogue nice and tidy in half an hour. And Alex would have had to spend much more time learning quietui. And but what did Alex know before? Alex knew Open UI and JavaScript, so I'm able to fix that function into an Open UI file and then build a button and call that function. Okay, let's see it one more time, right? So pretty. I had Claude generate this spinner. So I said, and I let it run completely free and create a spinner that looks very much like AI generated it. And the spinner looks very much like AI generated it. Okay, so yeah, that's the implementation. And what else can you do with generative AI? So have you used it for things like this? Have you used it for? No, none. And Richard, of course. At the Siebel Hub, we're at the cutting edge.
We love Shoelace. What is Web Awesome now?
We love Shoelace. We fund Shoelace. Web Awesome is now the commercial branch. Yeah. They don't get any money from us, but we're so excited. Okay, no one used it to generate Open UI JavaScript. Oh yeah. Okay, one did. A few did. Admit it. Come on. Raise your hands. Or style sheets. What about style sheets? Yeah, CSS. They're great at CSS. Those LLMs, they're great at CSS. So let's see some CSS I did. Before there was Redwood tabs, I had a customer who wanted Redwood tabs. And I had to create the tabs myself. So this is my interpretation of Redwood tabs. It's now obsolete. And the customer has a greenish, custom style. So I made it greenish. I call it Greenwood. Okay. And guess what? I took the color scheme from Oracle Redwood. I pasted it into Claude, and I say, can you change these colors in these variables to give it a green appearance? And it did. It even the Ask Oracle logo is now green. I'm not sure if that's allowed. Don't arrest me. And I got so excited, as I always do when I talk about these things. I let it, can you generate me different color schemes? Because we were on a roll here. So that's the original Redwood. And I have a little toggle button. Can you do dark mode? 5 seconds later, I have Siebel in dark mode. It would take big consultancies, 10 consultants in 2 months to create dark mode, and it would cost you €2 million probably. But here it is for free in your LLM, if you know what you're doing. So there's blue wood. Notice the blue. That's another color. That's my favorite theme because I'm a nerd. That's Star Trek, right? You can't use it, but it looks pretty. Definitely. Okay, let's stop here. We're stopping here. Okay, back to this. And once you're into LLMs and generative AI, I'm using screenshots now, so I'm conscious of time. But we can have breakout sessions. I'm here all night, so if you want to have a breakout session. So we have seen AI-assisted coding. I dare to go full slide. Yeah, works. So AI-assisted coding, what we have seen. For example, I'm calling this new business service from my code, and I noticed the code halts whenever I call the business service, so I had to wrap it in a promise. And I'm a JavaScript ECMA boomer. I don't know what promises are. So I had Claude helped me write a function that is asynchronous and returns a promise, so I can call a Siebel business service really asynchronously from the browser JavaScript. And yeah, I could make it work. I could make something work that would have taken me 2 hours or 2 days to figure out. And this is what I call AI inception. So my AI dialog, you recognize the little dialog? I configured to display HTML. And in my prompt template, I tell the LLM, return HTML, please. You can tell those LLMs what you want to return. Return JSON, return XML like it's 2004. Return HTML, and here I told it to tell me about the PII fields, PII detection, and it pushed out a report. And that report is displayed with graphics and all. So that's interesting, right? You are inside Siebel Open UI. Your LLM uses the data to generate HTML, which you use to visualize a situation. Is that inception already? Like using GenAI to generate code? You're using GenAI generated code to have it generate code? Okay, yeah, confusing myself. For the OpenUI masterclass, we're creating labs like this, a nice hierarchical representation of Siebel data with d0g. I love D3. I love looking at D3 diagrams, but I don't love coding them. If you know what D3 is, you know what I'm talking about. But Claude knows D3 well enough to generate this from a bunch of JSON I send it. Or here, this one is in DevPops. If you're really a Siebel Hub fan, you know DevPops, which is the free plugin library we have for Siebel Web Tools and Siebel. That's a Siebel workflow visualized in Mermaid with the help of Claude or any LLM that can write Mermaid code. Mermaid is a special language that you're using right then in
Yeah, we're using that to visualize the ERD, I think.
You visualize the views, and I got inspired by that, and we're visualizing workflows now. But the whole code is generated by the LLM, the code to take the workflow and visualize it. And that's really helpful if you want to understand those long-winded snaking workflows. You have them top to bottom and read them. Yeah, and we have the assisted styling. And there we have it. So generative AI is here to stay. And it's definitely not going away. For boomers like us, it's really helpful to get us into the next era of Siebel, Open UI, whatever. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you very much.